Now, this is back in the day, but boy, we used to love it. The Wind Up in Charlotte.
Yeah,
I miss that place.
man,
It
yeah.
doesn't exist no more,
It
right?
doesn't. It
Oh my
doesn't,
God.
unfortunately. Yeah. So that's actually where I started. I would say I got my start more so.
Really?
Maybe not my start, but like my early in my career,
Yeah. I
performing at
loved
the
it.
Wind Up. Yeah, it was
Yeah. The
really
ambiance
great.
was just on point.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a great space. I
Yeah.
feel like the beautiful thing about the Wind Up, and I've been trying to like create a similar thing anytime I've hosted events somewhere.
Yeah.
Is just it was a real community, right? Like
That's right.
the poets that would always go there every week, you know, and
That's
perform, and so we got to know each other, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. The audience would come. It'd be probably different people every time, but when people would come back, like, oh, I remember you. I remember like being out sometimes in Charlotte. I was like, I know you. I just saw you perform the Wind Up on Thursday, right? And so I think it was a really cool environment.
Yeah, the Noda
very
district.
special. Yeah, right. And
Yeah,
Noda, they
yeah.
were curated over there. So
Wow.
yeah,
I hope
unfortunately,
they
it's
come
not there
back.
anymore.
No,
but
yeah.
Jaycee, who was doing this stuff there, he's still doing events all over the city.
Okay, because we used to run into him often, but it's been a while. It's been some years since we've seen him.
Yeah. Jaycee's he's still out active.
Okay.
He does stuff with Taylor Smoke and which is like a cigar bar in Concord. He does events there. He does events all over the city, Huntersville.
Yeah, he stays busy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Shout out to Jaycee he always anytime he has an event or something like that or has an opportunity, he always reaches out for me to perform too.
That's
so
good.
It really means a lot. Yeah.
Tells the story of a hip-hop dynasty, and when it comes to hip-hop music, there's a lot of energy, a lot of feel that goes into making the instrumental tracks, but for some it's really all about the words, and those words to some people are pure poetry. Tonight, David Santendry brings Charlotte's underground poetry scene to the surface.
I first heard about this poetry scene just over a month ago, knew we needed to shed some light on what these artists are doing. You know, normally a lot of people don't associate an audio board like this with poetry, but some say poetry and hip-hop music go hand in hand. Every Thursday evening, you'll hear the music, but it's the words that are really meant to move you. Boris Blues Rogers and Jaycee Cowan. These two are lighting up Charlotte's poetry scene. Every Thursday, they host poetry jams in Noda at the venue Upstage.
I say Upstage, how y'all doing tonight?
Now that I know the difference between poison and medicine.
Words are a drug for these poets, phrased together to take listeners on a ride.
And I snap back into reality.
The reality of the poetry here is it's really good. And there are a couple of different types. You have your poetry that makes you laugh.
The great chopstick shortage of 1989 causes LL Cool J to constantly lick his lips.
And you have your poetry that strikes a chord.
Diversity is not a disease. Every ingredient in your background is a recipe for greatness.
A lot of the younger kids who were into hip-hop and kind of into poetry at the same time didn't have an outlet, or, you know, they saw us and were like, yo, is there a way we can tag along?
Some say poetry is hip-hop. Others say hip-hop is poetry.
Like leashes, like chains, like whips, tell it you didn't see his hands up.
This is the Mecca of poetry.
It's a bold statement, but he's not kidding. Some poets here have won national competitions. They say Charlotte's poetry scene is grassroots, and the grass keeps growing, where there's always room for one more.
Somebody can feel it, and somebody will understand, like, wow, that's me.
There's a lesson in battle, and she knew she was not in this war alone.
And as much as people love the feel of hip-hop music,
The sword in my hand to show all my bullies my power, even though I am powerless around you.
the words, the poetry is what brings it to life. Some of these poets are a part of Slam Charlotte, a group which is two-time champions for National Poetry Slam. I'm David Santendry, Fox 46, WJZY.
This is the Mecca of poetry.
today, family, I am standing right here in the historic district of Noda, the heart of Charlotte. So I want to take you guys back a little bit. Back in the day, there was a staple piece here called the wind up. If you're from Charlotte, you guys, you're familiar. Just wanted to let you know that it was the beginnings of live late night entertainment. It possessed poetry readers, artisans, and spoken word artists, and so much more. And today, you guys, we are celebrating our brother, Jaycee Cowan McField. He is a legend here in the Queen City, and he himself was a huge part of the wind-up. Homage to you, my brother. We appreciate you. Today on the show, fam, we have a legend in the house. Yeah, legendary in what he does, legendary in what he continues to do. It is none other than Mr. Jaycee Cowan, aka Mr. Touch One Productions, aka Jaycee the Poet.
There it is.
Y'all, let us welcome to the platform. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to be here.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming out, giving us your time, and your talent. You know how they say in church, your time and your talent.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome.
I
Now,
feel welcome. Let's go.
good stuff, right? So, if you all are not familiar with him, you're definitely going to be after this video. I'm telling you, because you do not want to miss what he has happening, what he has going on. Now, I want to let you know more. So, Jaycee is a poet. He's a poetry curator. You got to tell me about that. A serial entrepreneur, and he's been hosting for over 25 years. Yeah, and life keeps getting better and better.
Absolutely.
And better.
Always.
Man.
Always.
Let me tell you this here. So I'm a little bit nervous. You know, I'm a fan of my peoples, right? So having you on the show, this is definitely a privilege and an honor. But you know, it's our way of paying homage to you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like for all that you've done down through the years, and I mean down through the years. We're gonna get to that.
Oh yeah.
It's some powerful stuff, y'all. So now before we get started, I have to know, are you a Carolinas baby?
I was actually born in Louisiana.
Okay.
Because of the military.
Okay.
But my family, we of course came back to North Carolina. So North Carolina where is my roots, my home. Fayetteville, North Carolina, that is. Vietnam, as they say.
Say it ain't so.
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam.
So right down the street from Laurinburg.
Absolutely right down the street. Got family in Laurinburg too.
Don't play with it, seriously?
Oh yeah.
So that's home.
Red Springs, all that.
Wow, that's home for me.
Oh, Lord, Lumberton, all that. Yeah.
Wow, this is crazy. See,
That's
y'all.
home.
That's good stuff. So you know all about Highway 74.
Oh yes, sir.
It is the truth. Man, okay, so now, were you in the service?
I was. I served. My grandfather was in the service. My dad was in the service, and then I of course, I kind of followed right behind because everybody did good after with the service or in it or after it. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I did 8 years in the Army. 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
In the Army.
Yes, 8 years, and then served in the first Gulf War.
Wow.
So in Desert Storm, and then I got on out.
Hey. Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. That's legacy right there.
Absolutely.
You said dad, granddad?
Dad, granddaddy, yes sir.
Okay, that's good stuff right there. Woo! All right, so which came first? Was it the Army? Because I know when we spoke briefly, you do barbering.
Right.
Okay. So which one was first? Was it barbering or the Army?
Army. I meant barbering was first because I started cutting hair at 14 because my dad was in Germany and my mom worked after the night, I guess the second shift.
Yeah.
So when I got out of school, she couldn't take me to the barbershop. So I was like, just buy me some clippers.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. I'll work it out.
You did yourself.
I'm doing it myself.
That's good. Wow, man. Now, but as a former serviceman, what is like the one thing of discipline in the Army that, you know, it taught you, that's still with you? Do you have like a regiment?
It's hard because with my dad and my granddaddy being military, it was already in me, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Everything was already in me because they trained me like that, you know, because they were servicemen. So when I got in the military, it was nothing. I didn't have a problem with the discipline. I didn't have a problem with anything. I was ready to go. So the only thing I can say I took away from the Army was the good friends, you know, the camaraderie, which is what was really, really instilled in me to that, you know, just like traveling with my dad, you get to meet, you're going to meet other different people, and you got to fight beside these people, so you're going to have to learn how to be cool with these people.
Be real, like
That's
the brotherhood is real.
Absolutely, the brotherhood is real.
Now, you don't be waking Tommy up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, I ain't killing
nobody. Let's go for runs and walks.
No, she be waking me up. I'm like, get on the treadmill.
So who's really the service man? What's really going on?
Both from backgrounds like that, so yeah.
That's good. I love it, man. Well, again, we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Now, how long have you been barbering?
Like I said, since I was 14, I cut off. Like, of course, once I learned how to cut mine, you know, I had to cut somebody else's and make some money. The hustle was real when I was in high school. So I pretty much just started cutting in the neighborhood, and then when I went in the military, of course, in the military, hey, cats need haircuts for inspection, you know, so everybody would come to me for that haircut when they didn't have no money, and I'd get all my money on payday. So I'd be chasing everybody down.
Okay.
Let me get that, bro.
And
I was cheaper, so
okay. It's a whole other world now.
Oh yeah, it's a whole other world.
Y'all ain't gonna put no tariffs on no revenue.
Girl, they already tariffing the products.
God help us, Lord.
Oh yeah.
Now, in our brief conversation, you know, you mentioned about a family owning a hair salon, owning a shop, right? And you said that you and the nephew, you came from a shop that was gentrification. Gentrified
out. Yes, sir. And then it's so crazy how the movement, they were trying to buy up the whole block, and which included about 5 other buildings. And the city, I guess I would say the city of Charlotte, of course, they weren't going to put any retail back in, but they were wiping out all the retail, and they wanted to put condos in. So the deal fell through, and they actually didn't sell it. Nothing happened to the space.
Okay.
So yeah, but that's what happened. But they were trying to buy it out, but we just, you know, we didn't want to put our owner of that shop didn't want to put everybody on hold and having to scramble to find somewhere to go. So he gave us the opportunity to move to another place, you know, if you needed to.
That's happening a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's happening with us.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because isn't it weird how when it happens, if you get a whole new world, you know, like when I go to the Queen City now and see what we call the hood ain't the hood no more. We looking at 400, 500,000 homes.
They might have put a little. There's a few places where they just put some side on, but put a little side on. It's still the hood, but they making it look real nice. You know how they do it. They making it look real nice right now.
Right. Well, I tell you, man, it's crazy. And so like with us, we got new roads now.
Right.
We probably gonna get some what we call them bike trails soon. You know, simply because there's gentrification. Absolutely. It's amazing. All right, folks, hold on to your land, black people. Okay.
That's it.
Now, so because you're still a man of the craft, you know, you're at the Shades. All right.
Yes.
We want to shout out to you, the Shades.
Shout out to Shades, my girl Priscilla. You already know what it is.
Yeah, Miss Priscilla Floyd.
Miss Priscilla Floyd. That's right.
Showing you love out there, sister. Might have to come and see you, Kim.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually,
I never leave you back.
Priscilla is that girl.
She's that girl.
She is that woman. She does it. She makes it do what it do. She's been doing it in the business a long time.
Wow, that's good, man. That's good. Now, so was your entrepreneurship journey? You know, was this part of it? Cutting hair, was that like on a to-do list?
It absolutely was. Yeah. When I moved to Charlotte, that was my intention. I came here. I had went through a lot of stuff, and I came here with writing on my mind, and I began to find poetry spaces and watching the scene and just seeing what little scene there was back then, and that's just I was like, yeah, and that's what I came in. I was like, I'm gonna go to barber school. And those are the 2 things I'm gonna do. And I came to Charlotte. Boom, bam, got into barber school.
What was the school then?
Just For You. It was actually the barbershop that we have. It's 4 of them. We have 4 other shops here in Charlotte, but the name of the school was Just For You, and it was in Midtown Square.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, it was in Midtown Square, and it was just a great experience, man. Like that school taught me a lot about life, people, and really what barbers are to the community. You know what I'm saying? He's really instills what a barber's responsibility is, as opposed to just get out here and make this money.
Right.
You know, and that's what I appreciate about him. Shout out to Jeff Brody on Just For You.
Shout out to you, Mr. Brody. That's good. That's good. Legacy is real.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Jaycee.
Yes.
Some say hip hop. Some say poetry is hip hop. Others say hip hop is poetry. What do you say?
I say poetry is hip hop because poetry's been way around way before hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Whether they call it hip hop or not, but poetry has always been the base of writing feelings. You know, bringing other people into your writing like that. So I definitely say poetry before hip hop. I think hip hop is like a derivative of poetry, and it just, like I said, you know, us, we creative. We're gonna make something out of nothing. We're gonna make something out of nothing.
Yeah, so I gotta ask you, you know, since we can't do our love jokes, it's all right, you know. But when did you fall in love with poetry?
High school. I want to say high school, because I didn't know what it was. I started writing rap in junior high school. Because it was 78, and I think I was in 7th grade or something like that, and I was in Germany, and I heard Rapper's Delight, and then it was rapping, you know what I'm saying? So I was writing raps first. I didn't write poetry first, I wrote raps first. And so then I realized that my raps were poetry. I was like, oh, you know, okay, I got it, okay, so yeah. So that's really how I got into writing, was being a rapper.
Yeah. Now, do you have a typical writing style or routine?
No, honestly, I know what I do have is I tend to have a rhythm. People know my rhythm, they know my voice, and they know it's me from afar.
Okay.
They'll know it's me, because any poem that I'm doing, they're all different, but my rhythm is different in every poem because I'm feeling each poem in a different way. Yeah, so each rhythm is different, so it's almost like listen to a different song. Because there's a beat in it too, not just my words, but there's a beat in it, a rhythm to it.
It's second nature to you.
Yeah. It's just the way I write. It's the way I've always written, because I was writing rap first, so I was writing to music first.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying? So
you know the flow.
Exactly. I had the music in my head.
It's good stuff, man. Now, so how do you know when a poem is finished? Like, I met a young lady recently, and she literally said that she don't know when the song finished. That was my first time hearing that.
To me, a poem is finished when you can really, when you write that last line and you know that that's really the last thing you want to say. And it ain't necessarily that you don't have anything else to say, but you know, this is definitely the last thing I want to say, because this is what's going to make them go, oh. You know,
statement piece.
Right, that statement piece. And I'm like, and they're like, yeah, okay. And then they retract and remember all the things they heard, how it relates. So yeah, so I think a poem, it ends when I'm done, when I feel like I've made that state to me, you know.
Now, can we talk about inspiration and influence? Okay. All right, because I know you have some there now. Let's talk about influence. So, a non-literary source like music, nature, your dreams, does that inspire you to write? Like sitting on the porch?
No,
I
ain't really that kind of. I've never been that type of writer. I'm more of a situation writer. I write situations because writing to me was always for me. I never really even got into other people's poetry, just for the simple fact that all my poetry and the reason I write is for me. So I don't want to listen to other poets talk about them, because I don't need that to come into me, because I'm hearing their poem and I'm like, oh yeah, I could say that too. No, so I really am just kind of like my story. So when it hits me, I write when it hits me to write, or when I'm hired to write, which a lot of people hire me to write poems for them. And I have a great knack for that. That's the easiest thing to do. You put your bullet points down and it's going to be a poem.
And so now, which poets or artists have influenced you the most?
Honestly, the the most influential poet to me that I can honestly say has, it's a lot of them because I worked with them all before I even got into poetry. But Queen Sheba, my sister, she's a Grammy nominated for the last 2 years. And I said Queen Sheba and my Atlanta crew of females, man. Yeah. Teresa the Songbird, Georgia Me, you know, those women, because meeting those women, you know, you meet women poets and you meet men poets, but having good relationships with women get a little bit more open with you, and they tell, you know, they want to help you, opposed to competing with you in a sense. True. You know, they like, oh baby, I can show you how to do this, you know, type things. But they were inspirational to me because I watched them go from where I was and beyond now. Yeah. You know, on the grind of poetry, like I'm gonna do this. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So how does your personal life identify or shape your poetry? So is it? I think that goes with that situationship.
Right. And my personal life now, like I said, when I really got back into poetry heavy, I was writing out of things because I was like going through stuff. You know, I didn't even say it was a bad place. Yeah. It was just I knew I wasn't going to be there long, and I knew I didn't want to be there much longer. I was like, I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna get through here, and we're gonna, you know, I just knew I wanted more. And just in those moments of that had taken me through things, I wrote on that because my story was interesting to people, and I didn't know that. So it was really about my story and connecting with people that had really the same story. Yeah. And that's what really continued to inspire my writing. It's just, you know, what I'm going through, and at that time I was really giving them my life. Like, yeah, it was no funny poetry, none of that. That was
real.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask you, you know, do you write to a specific audience in mind?
I really write for everybody. I write poems that everybody can relate to, and I write them where I can at least do it in a children environment or an adult environment. I can spice up. I say a couple cuss words and make somebody turn their head and start paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Because you'd be surprised what a cuss word do. People start listening to the poem after they get cuss words.
I've been in cussing rehab for 7 years now. Let me tell you, if anybody started service, you could get paid. Let me know if you know something. I'm serious. They got Alcoholics Anonymous and all these things.
I know that's
but you know, when I talk to the Lord, He did it.
It's slow.
Working with me.
Nah, I can't cut.
Now, what has been like your most rewarding experience as a published poet?
There's a book out called Women's World, and it's by a brother. He used to go. His name is Brandon Keith, but he used to go by. He was Outkast, the official poet for Outkast. Oh man, I'm trying to. And he put me in a book of his, and it was all the men apologizing, just everything men giving themselves up to our wrongs to women, and it was just an ode to women. And I'm gonna get the correct everything on that so you can have that. But that was a proud moment for me, one of my most proudest moments, because he was a national poet and the book did really well. And it put who I was out there to the world. Like, not just on my local platform, not just here, maybe 50 people, 100 people, 100 here, but it's 100,000 people saw it, heard this poem, which is amazing. Then he had us do audio to it, which was great. But I think that, and then also my proudest moment in all of this is just, like I said, creating and being a part of creating Slam Charlotte. That, because that really just went, and everything just went. So yeah,
it's still running.
Yeah, absolutely. That was that thing.
Now, has it happened this year yet? Yes, Slam?
It's going on in June. In this year, they're going to be in Nashville. Oh. And it's the Southern Fried competition. The national competition actually got canceled. They went bankrupt or whatever. Something happened with that. Yeah. So now we're actually the regional slam is one of the only slams in the Southeast region now. Or major ones that bring in people from all over the Southeastern region.
That's huge.
Yes.
That's real good. That's real good. So I want to talk philosophy and legacy.
No.
What do you believe is the role of poetry in society today? Is it more so now?
The role, I really honestly, I'm gonna speak from society, from Charlotte, inside that, and you know, I know we're going beyond, but my thing is the fact that they've hired poets to go into workplaces to do poetry to help people deal with their workplace and the things going on within this space. Poetry is more of a healer, and people just want to know that it ain't just them.
Yeah.
And when people find out that it ain't just them, they can deal with them a little better. You know what I'm saying? And I think poetry is just a healer. And right now, the way we're in schools and the way we're in churches and the way we're in anything you can think of where they have any kind of entertainment money, poetry is there. And they're wanting more of it because it really is a healer and an intriguer, because even I noticed that the old people love yeah. I gotta write like 5 books and just start selling for real. Put them out there. I got to make, because it's amazing how they just tell you, I just want to read some more of your poetry or hear some more of your poetry. Yeah.
So were you guys fans of Love Jones?
I was a fan of it because it really kicked poetry off where people wanted it. You know, it made it relevant to people.
That's right.
You know, it wasn't in the background anymore. It stood up front, and they had your boy Tay in there, you know, and little Nia. So yeah, it was like it was important to people then. Everybody wanted to be one. Oh, that's the good thing we're gonna talk about today. Go ahead.
Now, so has poetry changed your mind or healed something in you?
Absolutely. Well, poetry is the reason I'm standing today. Like, my poetry is the reason I can, because I still have poetry that nobody's ever heard. That's just, I read to myself and was like, dang, bro, you gotta fix that.
Yeah.
You say that, you gotta fix that. Like, you say that about yourself, you gotta fix that. So yeah, it's definitely.
Now, so what do you hope that the readers will take away from your work?
Honestly, I want them to take what's real, because, and I tell everybody, I'm not a big reader, so I'm not a factual person. I'm more visual and realizing what's going on around me. Because in the military, you know, being in the military, you talk to, you know what's going on in this round. You gotta know what's going on around you. And so I've always been, you know, I'm not a super political person, but I'm very involved and interested in what the government's doing, you know, and things that are going on, stuff like that. But my thing is that I really just wanted people to take what's real from it and be like, wow, that brother said that's real. You know what I'm saying? That's real. You know, like that's the factor I like to push out there.
But if you could speak to your younger self as a poet now, what would you say?
Sit your ass down.
You heard it.
Sit your ass down somewhere. Boy, be still.
You know what grandma meant now.
Exactly. Boy, be still. Can't be still. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I said to myself.
I think all of us would have said that. You know, like, you know, when you move your kids, you be mumbling about watching this and stuff, but when you paying bills and stuff, now you be like, I wish I could just watch it.
Wish I could run and laugh and not worry about shit tomorrow. What's coming up tomorrow. Exactly. So yeah.
I tell you what, Jaycee, now you've organized many community events, all right? But the wind-up, the wind-up set the stage. Can we go back a little bit, like back down memory lane?
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna go now. We're gonna go on back down. I'm telling you now. I'm gonna tell you what I found out. There was a news anchor back in the day by the name of David Century on Fox 46. He did an exclusive interview. And he called it, it's a local news featuring venue upstage, Wind Up. He called it the underground poetry scene. I think he was talking to you. And then, you know, they wanted to shed some light on the local artists, right? And in the historic district, which we call NODA.
Right.
They still call it NODA?
Art district. Yes, it's still NODA. Ain't no art district.
Okay. Well, I tell you what though. So, is this when Touch One Productions took birth?
It is. That was the birth of it, and it was really about touching one person. Because we would always say, my poem may not touch everybody, but if one person takes something from it, we've done our job.
You scared.
So it was always about touch one. You just touch one person. That was all. It was all it was about, man. That's where the
I was going to ask you, was you metaphorically speaking? Because what is that? Touch one, teach one.
Touch one, teach one. Yeah, back in the day, I remember that. Touch one, teach one.
See, that's where I was. I said, oh, touch one, teach one. That's where my brother going with that. Now, was there a particular moment or event that made you realize that this was your calling?
Yes. There was an event that was going on, and me and these people were really, really good friends. But there was an event that was going on at the time, and I want to say it was at Swing 1000 on Central Avenue, and it was a poetry night. And I was hosting, and poets were coming in, and the promoters were, it was just doing their thing, and y'all tell people we were paying to get in and everything. And then one day I was like, this don't make no damn sense. Now wait a minute, now I'm hosting for nothing. Yeah. I'm paying to get in and I'm hosting, and my friends are paying to get in and they're performing. So we just making y'all money. So I was like, so I told the poets, we're not paying tonight. If they make us pay, we're going home. And that was it. And so we went home. Because they wanted us to pay. So we went home, and after 2 weeks, they was calling saying, please come back. Can we talk to you about what we need to do? And that was the birth of getting paid.
I like that word.
And I was like, I'm supposed to do this, because we gonna make this right.
Now, so what inspired you to start organizing events in the community?
Well, honestly, it was through other poets actually that I knew who worked at like rec centers or teachers. Like a lot of my friends and a lot of our patrons were teachers, and those people they would hire me to come into the school, but just with their under the table money. Like the teachers would put their money together and be like, come and show up at 9 o'clock. I'm living in the back door, because you didn't have to register back then. You just had to be safe from school. Couldn't do nothing crazy, but that really just threw me into the community, and I started working with community organizations and the Alexander youth groups and YMCAs and the Salvation Armies. And once you start getting into that, it was so easy to just put things together, because once you're in that community, the community just supports. Like they support. And so that's really what it was. It was getting involved with the teachers and the community that really just kind of threw me out there, which was perfect, because I realized that I was giving them all something that they were all receiving. It was a community of people. When I saw kids were even listening and interested, it was like, oh yeah, okay, I got it now. I got it now. Yeah, okay.
I know you're gonna keep it 100.
Exactly. I get it.
So what has been the biggest challenge that you regularly face when organizing events? Is it permits?
And most of the things I don't even have to do, because I have partners that have the spaces, so I don't have to deal with anything. Really, I'm coming in clean. Like really, your network and your connections is what it's all about. Everything should be easy for everybody, because as long as everybody is in their space and doing what they do, everything should run smooth. So I would say the hardest thing about curating events and going through and doing things even on a larger plateau, is the money. The money.
Now, so if someone was trying to get in the game, what would they need, to know about funding? Like, is it through sponsorship, grants, or partnership?
Well, it used to be grant heavy. Right. And as you know now, what's going on, that's a wrap. And grants is a wrap. It's a lot of things are being shut down right now because there ain't no grants coming out right now. And that was a huge part of our community, because we had people doing grant writing classes, trying to help people, teaching people that you can actually get a grant for you know what I'm saying? Right. So it really opened up a lot, and it got flooded, and I'm telling you, that's a detriment to our community for what he's done with those grants. But it is what it is. We still gonna move. We still gonna move. We gonna move.
I believe it to be so. Now, think back. Or recent, share a story about a specific person or a moment that made you feel like your work was truly making a difference.
When the Slam team came back and they had won first place at the national competition, and we were the youngest team that had been there and had the least experience. Wow. And they went up there and brought back that national title in 2006, I want to say. And that just, to me, because incorporating with Terry, the guy who was the founder of the Slam team, we worked together to build that team. I was in the clubs, and he would, I would help him get the poets to compete for the Slam. So we just worked together on building that community, and for them to go and win that, and then win it 3 times, win it back to back, and then go back and win it 2 years later, and have won it the most in history. Nobody's ever won the National Slam Championship more than Charlotte, North Carolina. That makes me proud.
Man, I bet you that's something to see.
Oh,
You know, so do people get to do that?
Oh, it's everything going on. It's everything going on. It's just, imagine 13, 14 places in a city got poetry going on at the same time. These slams are going on at the same time all day, all night, you know, for 3 days into the third day, which is the national competition where the finalists come to the stage and compete for the money. But yeah, it's amazing, and it's over 110 teams. So
Really?
Yeah, they came from China, Australia. I mean, they were from all over the world. Yeah, all over the world.
I believe it. Now, so let's talk inclusivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you ensure events are inclusive, like welcoming to all parts of the community?
Because we are huggers.
Okay.
We're huggers. And people, you just be surprised how many people just need an good old hug. You know, you have people, we catch people a little resistant, and they're like, oh, you know what? Come on, man, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Give it to me. But and really, it's the warmth of the spaces, man. The spaces. I'm very particular about the spaces that I use and the spaces I put poetry in, because they have to be inviting.
Yeah.
To me, in order for me to bring people to it. I'm really finicky like that. It has to be something.
You gotta feel it.
Yeah, you gotta feel that room.
Feel you on that now.
Yeah.
Now, so who do you usually collaborate with?
On.
So I mean, like building relationships with. Like we recently Nick and Mike.
Okay. You talking about on in the university?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, what's the guy's name? Anyway, my brother-in-law and him and one of the owners were in the military together.
Okay.
And when I went out there and met them, one of my DJs, B1, he DJs out there on what's that, Friday?
That's how I do right there. DJ
B1. B1 gets it in.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. That's my boy.
Okay.
That's my boy.
So
But
there's
I
a
like
lot
that
of
stuff.
collaboration going on.
Yes, and that is what it's all about. Like relationships with bar owners and club owners. I only am interested in working with people that are actually lovers of the art.
Yeah.
I don't, because most people just want you to make them some money.
Yeah.
And when your time runs out and you're not making them no money, that's a wrap. You're out the door.
Yeah.
No matter how much time you spend, no matter how much you've invested, you're out the door when they stop making money. So it's very important that I have a relationship with the people that I have these network and this business with when it comes to these poetry, because I really don't have. I'd rather for a brother come to me and sit me down and say, look, man, I really just can't afford to have you or keep you here, you know, and I understand that. And I do that even with my brother Preston. You know, I'm the type of dude that where if I have a show and I know you in a situation and I can take less for the show today. Yeah. Because I know there's a situation. I would do that for every one of these guys that I work with, because we have that kind of relationship to where it is we can make this thing work. You know, and that's the whole part of it. Is just making it work. You got to make your business relationships work.
That's true. Now, Jaycee, are there like any community voices that you think are still like unrepresented in local events?
Unrepresented?
Unrepresented.
Community? I really can't speak on it because my community is tight and it is highly supportive, and we actually go out and support the ones that ain't supported. Like there's a lot of love in our community, not just with poets, but just the arts community, because the arts community really started with Wine Up. Like the painters, the singers, the rappers, they all came there. That's where they met. Most of them met at the Wine Up. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that place birthed so many relationships that are out here and are the foundations of so many things now. And definitely when it comes to children and when it comes to the kids, it's so much support that our community is doing. There's so many things that everybody's doing. And Brandon, it's a guy named Brandon, we call him Mr. Excitement. And we got an event coming up this Saturday at Greertown that he does every year. And it's just amazing, you know, to go into these communities and see that they still want that. Yeah. You know, and now that the community is kind of changing, you know what I'm saying? It's changing. It's changing. It's amazing to see that they wanted to. Them white folks be right out there ready to hear. They want to know what's going on, you know? What is it? And they're interested just as well. So bringing in community. Like I said, it's just about touching these communities, like you said, continue to support each and every one of them that we can.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you, recently we had these two awesome dudes on the platform. You know these brothers, Poet Laureate Angelo Deere.
Ooh, my boy.
Yeah,
His
man.
nephew, that kind of my nephew.
He spoke about you, your legacy, and you know we talked about the wine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think all of us love the wine, you know. I'm thinking, what, 2007? Ooh, that's how far back, you know, when I think about it. And DJ B1 of Planet Funk's real, he also showed high regards to you. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much love for you in the community, brother.
I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody. I try to do right by everybody, man. My granddaddy and my father, they really instilled in me, you know, be a man of your word. Do what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And you know, when you promise people something, you know, when you're working with people and you owe them something, they're giving you something for something, you pay that. You take care of that.
That's right.
You take care. Keep your face good. Don't ever let money have your face bad.
Yeah.
That's the worst way to have your face bad.
Truth. Oh my goodness now. So now, what I know is that you have had in the past and currently a solid dream team of poets.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you had poets like Blues.
Yes.
I'm gonna use his government name, Boris Roberts.
Wow.
Blues. I was calling Blues you. And Dion Hunter, right? Riley Scott.
Yes.
Who was the young lady's name? I forgot her name, but just so many. You talk about Teresa the Songbird.
Right.
You know, so you got that hit list, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so now I just want to pivot a little bit, and we're going to talk about current.
Okay.
When did Taylor Smoke Cigar and Lounge come to life?
Taylor Smoke came to life. Preston Gray brought that to life, and I want to say that was about 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to say 2008 is when he first, because he started it, and the fact Preston is a good friend of mine. Like I said, that relationship between me and him is amazing. So I don't want to speak much of Taylor Smoke on the history of it because I don't know its full history.
Yeah.
But just that relationship and being a cigar smoker, and me and him actually met in passing. And I found out he was that. He's like, yeah, man, I own Taylor Smoke, and I love to have poetry over there. And then he was like, let's have a relationship.
Yeah.
Right. Let's have a relationship, and that really struck me as genuine for somebody to say that.
Yeah.
Because most people just be like, come over and let's talk about how you can make me some money. Pretty much.
Now, okay, so tell us about your poetry nights. Thursdays, right?
Thursday night. It's every second and fourth Thursday.
Okay.
And basically it's mi casa, which I started in my home. And it was because once the pandemic came, it kind of shut everything down, and you know, nobody was doing anything. So coming back from the pandemic slowly, and as I was getting booked and doing my things, I knew I wasn't done curating an event. I knew I just wanted one event. I don't even know 5, 6, no more.
Yeah.
I just needed one event that I could do to satisfy me.
Yeah.
For what I need to do for myself to be like, you doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I just needed that one event. And when I started in my home, it just took off so fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we need to take this to a venue and do that. And so, yeah, and Taylor, I was in a couple places, you know, just kind of popping in, and then Taylor Smoke was when we was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. And had our year anniversary in March, and hey, here we are, we still here.
Wow, man, I tell you now. And so now you guys have incorporated comedy?
Yes, my man Tyrone Burston takes care of our first and third Thursday nights. And it is amazing because Tyrone is international now. The boy has he has blown up.
Shout out to you, Tyrone.
Shout out to Tyrone Burston, man. But one of the brother is just he's like me with poetry. He is the same way with the comedy because he just has that plethora of comedians that he can call.
Wow.
He's worked with so many people. He's been on the scene so long enough to have built those relationships that he can make those phone calls and bring in some of the best comedians in the country.
Wow, that's good stuff, man. I know it's never a dull moment. Never a dull moment now.
Never.
Now, will you guys continue bringing day parties?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm telling you, Taylor Smoke has so much stuff going on, and especially in the Uptown location, which is located in the Queen City quarters, which is old epicenter.
Okay.
Yes, but his location there is I mean, that's the uptown cigar lounge you want to go hang out. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to my man Preston Gray. And like I said, his vision on everything, and it's called a mobile cigar lounge, and it's a van, and you can rent it, and you can actually pull up to wherever you want to have your own little things, your own little cigar lounge right there with you. So he's really looking to do big things with cigars and big things with the arts.
And live entertainment.
All day, every day, man. You're gonna have something going on at Taylor Smoke. It's just a DJ or a live band. It's spoken word comedy. It's gonna be something because he does believe in you. Especially his members. He has members. People pay memberships and dues. I mean, you definitely want to give them something that's at least worth paying your dues.
Wow, man. And Jaycee, I can't let you go without talking about a poetry of place and folk. Your Black Charlotte album.
Ooh, man, when I tell you.
I want you to give it to him.
Girl, this was the highlight of my year right here. And it's just really one of the highlights of my whole poetry career, honestly, because it's the first time that I've recorded and I know it's on a higher level than me just putting it out there. But to have 15 of the toughest poets in the country that are all curators of the art, and that, like, the way this was picked by Jay Ward, and Jay Ward is our poet laureate for Charlotte, in which he really was the head of putting this thing together, and he teamed up with Josh Smalls, and for just to really brainstorm on it and come up with the ideas and really put together this thing for the Harvey Gantt Center for Black History Month, and that's really what it was all about 2 years ago. We put that together for them, and then Jay Ward was like, you know what? We need to turn that into a production. Because at the poet laureate, he's getting the grants. He's like, hey, we have to spend this money. We have to do something productive with this money. And that is why Jay Ward, shout out to Jay Ward. That boy is the best. He knows what he's doing. And like I said, it really is about the poetry. And so coming up with this Black Charlotte, putting everybody together, and all our poems are just telling the history of Black Charlotte. And me, of course, I'm the one, I'm pretty sure they knew that I wouldn't have a history poem. But
you did good.
My point was that I wanted to come from another angle of 30-year-old coming back home, and he's like, dang, man, I ain't with my folks at with a hood at there. Dang, man, Miss Mary House ain't over there no more. Like, dang, like, it's all gone. And I really wanted the people to feel that, especially Charlotteans. And when we had the show at the theater, you heard it in the audience as I did the poem. You could hear
and the
people.
music in the back.
Yes.
So
the production is amazing. Like I said, it is the put it in your car and ride.
Yeah, straight through.
It is just put it in and let it ride. Push the button, play, and y'all just roll with it, because it's one of the best albums I've heard and perfectly put together.
I Know Exodus, Sir Abstract.
Yes, sir.
From a Seed by Josh Small. Oh my God. Representation equals power. Deion Hunter and Kyle. And the next by Blues. Perfect Ingredients, Mr. Witts. Rose Charlotte, a poem named Superman and Mouse. Yeah, okay. And the next Postlude. So it sounds like we're gonna get another one here soon. You heard it here first, peoples. Let me tell y'all, I have listened to it, and it is so good. And who did the illustration on the album?
Jay Ward and Josh Smalls came together on that, and for the that was a picture of the Brooklyn neighborhood that was in Charlotte that was black.
Yeah. Yes. I was like, that is historic in itself. Now, so tell the wonderful people, where can they go and get this body of work?
You can go to all platforms of music, iTunes. Now I do believe it's on. Spotify now. Yeah. But yeah, you can hit all music platforms. You should see it. Just put in Black Charlotte, and it should come right on up. Should be too many things out there called Black Charlotte.
So we got Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and I've never heard of Deezer, but hey, it works.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. Y'all write this down now, and the people can find you where?
You can find me always on Instagram. It's my favorite place to be as I stay on the move, and that's FLYY_poet.
Yeah. Underscore poet. I love that, man. And then how about, can they reach you at Taylor?
Absolutely. You can reach me at Taylor Smoke. All that. Everything is reachable. I'm here.
Now, so I do want to ask you this here.
Yes.
What's your long-term vision for the community through your events?
Long term is really, which is, it's hard now. It's hard to say because my long term has came. I'm in my long term.
What are you trying to say?
This is 26 years later, so I'm kind of in my long term. But I personally am seeing the product of it all, and that is that the young people have come up to actually take the reins and do it like it's supposed to be done, not treat it like it's nothing and turn it into some mess and mayhem and drama, but actually respect what us as the concrete generation built in the city as far as poets. And the whole point of it was is to be a community, love on each other, be there for each other. We've had poets kill themselves. We've had poets that got killed. We've had crazy stuff happen. Poets just died. So we, as a community, it's all about being there for each other. So we don't have to worry about hearing about something and not knowing that was already going on. So we can get in there, help each other and love each other. And the community is doing that now. And that was really my long term, because I didn't see no love in poetry when I came here. Everybody was separate. It was cliques, and everybody was, you couldn't get in unless you had wore a rack, but you couldn't get in unless you burned incense or whatever. It was a lot of crazy stuff going on. So now going forward from here, in the long term from here, honestly, my thing is to get a little deeper in these churches. Like, I really want this poetry deep in these churches and with these kids in the churches, because it needs to draw. We need our kids in church. We need these younger cats to be interested in what's going on there. And I think poetry reaches everybody. So that's where I'm going.
Wow. Now, are you considering mentorship? You're probably too busy for that.
Yeah. Honestly, we got people for that. No, but absolutely. Like, I've mentored a lot of people, and not indirectly and directly. But everybody knows if they come to me and they need anything, and they just need to talk, or they just need some advice on something that's going on, trust me, I get a lot of calls on what to do, and that's a good thing, because a lot of people don't know what to do, and they know that they don't have to walk into that situation not knowing.
Man, I'm so grateful to you for just having a wind-up experience. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That right there is powerful, and for you to continue, I love it. I love it now.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, the people can find you at, is it Fly Poet?
FLYY_poet. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And Mecca.
You
got something coming up May 22nd?
Yes, sir. May 22nd, we got Shane Mania of Gorilla Poets and my man Josh Smalls, who is actually the co-producer on the Black Charlotte album. He's going to be featuring that evening, so it's going to be a great evening. It always brings out a great crowd. Yeah. It's just, like I said, and especially with the Gorilla Poets coming in, it's usually a room full of poets that night. It's going to be a lot of poet energy in the room, so it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, but you ready? We're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. Anything else you want to share with us?
I just want to share and just say, the whole point of everything, I think, from when I started and got in the community working, it was about, I haven't done as much as a lot of the poets that I work with. I haven't even accomplished half of what they've accomplished from just off of coming in that room in the lineup and getting that motivation to continue to do whatever they're doing. And that's rewarding to me. And I want to say and tell everybody, like, if somebody do it and make it look easy, then you can do it anyway. And if they make it look hard, you can still do it, if that's what you really want to do. So just don't ever be deterred by how it worked out for somebody else. Get yours, because it's there for you. And if you're walking in your path, stay in your path, because you both that left and that right, baby, you don't know what's out there. So stay in your lane, do what you know you can do. Stay focused on that, and when you do that, you become good at that, and that will be your greatness.
That's good stuff. Man, I tell you, Jaycee, it has been a blessing to have this conversation with you.
I enjoyed it.
And us in the world, and the ones who now know, We want to thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done, that you are, and that you're going to continue to do. Y'all make sure that you check my brother out. Go and check him out wherever he's at.
I'm gonna see. Let me plug this one thing is that we got coming up this weekend, and it'll be going on all through the area. You can catch it every other Sunday, starting this Sunday. So it's the Vegan Vibes Music Series, and we do it every year. And I'm the official host for that. And we do 8 weeks of it every other Sunday out at the Armored Cow Brewing Company out in University. And it is, when I tell you, it is fun for all, good for all, healthy. Everything is good, and you actually get to. The vendors are amazing. Like it's so many things going on, and so much of us out there supporting each other and really just teaching about health. So it's a great place to come out. So check it out, Vegan Vibes Music Series. You can check them out as well on Instagram at Vegan Vibes Music Series.
Oh, that's good. That's real good because we gotta get healthy in this area.
Gotta get it, baby. We're trying to be here as long as we can.
Y'all family, I tell you what, let's give him some snaps, show my brother some love. Y'all already know, family. He's local, not local. We're famous around these folks.
That's right.
Y'all be blessed.